Hey y'all, it's your favorite professor, Professor LMC, making you a special video after a long day. And I want to say you guys have been doing just great this semester, and I'm looking forward to grading your last exam. I've been getting some super unique approaches, and I really want to encourage you to continue with the format that you feel comfortable, whether it's a video or a podcast, it's a written essay, handwritten essay, or you come in and talk to me one-to-one, whatever and you could switch it up if you decide, hey, I want to try a podcast. I did a video last time. I really want to honor your modality of expression of your exam. And I appreciate your patience with me grading this last round of exams. I just want to give you thoughtful commentary and not just race through like the good old days of Space Invaders and rush through it. So let me go ahead and do a screen share now and go over this exam for those of you who need a little bit of clarification. And let me see here, go to enter full screen. Okay, so I've extended so we assigned this in class on 422. This is a technical writing exercise that requires following a specific writing format and applying behaviors to concepts as they relate to team and group roles. And this is just what you did with your interpersonal assignment, the communication conflict assignment. You took a script that you wrote, and then you located terms and you unpacked that script with the terms, or you picked terms and you wrote a script that was aligned with those terms. Regardless of what your workflow process, all of y'all did this just splendidly. And this is the same situation with a little bit more flexibility. Now, the original deadline, I extended it. I'm going to add one more day because it's nighttime right now. Right now it's 8:45, and I'm going to finish this lecture and then upload it. So I'm just going to add another day. And then and remember, this situation here is when you're going to get extra credit, because I like to reward you for having good time management skills. And so that's what the hard deadline is 5:06 at 11:59 p.m. Do not skip class on that day. So the video for this prompt is located here. Obviously, this is going to change, and I'm going to have a link. You have vocabulary sheets below, and you've got my lecture material, but these slides from the lecture material are also below, which is the vocabulary sheets, and there's some slides, right? So I have two different series of lectures that I put together. So when you look at these things right here, this is from one textbook, this is from another textbook, and so that's what that is. Now, the other thing is, there are some elements from your textbook, and I have the links, and it's all very straightforward. And you can use this stuff if you want also, if you're interested in leadership. So for example, textbook chapters for each section, because you're going to have 3 sections: maintenance, social. And remember, back in the day when I was in school, we called them maintenance roles. Now the textbooks call them social roles. And I like to give you the trajectory of my beloved discipline, which used to be called speech communication, which is now called communication studies. So I tend to include the trajectory of those different terms. It's always been called task role. Back in the day when I was a undergraduate school at Southwest Texas State University, they were called negative roles. Now they're called individual roles. There is an option to substitute a leadership style for one of the group roles referenced above. So in other words, when you go to your let me just go to the very bottom, and because here's the format of the paper, right? You've got section 1, maintenance roles, and you're going to do 3 roles. If you want to substitute one of these 3 roles for those leadership styles, have at it. And you're thinking, where are the maintenance roles? They're all here for you. So the first section are the maintenance social roles. This is everything. So you could pick 3 of these 3 right here, if that's all you wanted to do. Or you could pick 2 and then pick one of those leadership roles. So I wanted to give you a little bit of flexibility from some of the textbook material. And this is really super cool stuff. And so, in fact, if you've watched this video and you pick one of these, I'll add an additional 3 points, but you have to have watched the video to get the extra credit. All right. And maybe I'll add it anyway if you do it. So, I mean, let's face it. Anybody who does it, I'm going to add the 3 points. But if you watch the video, let me know if you like the video or not. Well, don't. If you didn't like it, don't give me your opinion. Here's the tip in life: don't ever file an open records on yourself if you don't want to hear people gossiping about you. So, I mean, whatever. I remember one time, oh, I know what it was. It was the tree situation, y'all, when they wanted to put that tree in my yard. So I filed an open records of the neighbors and their emails to the city council, to the city manager. And I read all their nasty emails like, we want that sidewalk in her yard. So anyway, so I guess people think I have a thick skin because I've been in politics. I'm like, no, I'm like a sweet little wildflower. I don't have thick skin. I just pretend like I'm a shark. So, so anyway, but yeah, if you like the video, if you don't like the video, tell me what I need to do better. All right, I need your help. I always am open to any sort of opinions. You guys know that from class. So, can you tell the coffee's just now kicking in? I've been working all day, y'all, but I'm doing this for you because I just adore your classes. Guidelines for submitting your exam. A general introduction and conclusion are not required. So I don't need the introduction that says, in the world of speech communication, there's intrapersonal communication, which is internal dialogue. There's interpersonal communication, which is communication between two individuals. There is public speaking, which is one to the many. And then there's group communication. In this paper, I will be talking about group communication, which is communication between 5 to 7 people. And I will cover 3 different types of roles. The first type of role is task-oriented roles, or maybe, I guess the way I have it laid out, you would say the first type of role is maintenance social roles, which are roles that focus on maintaining relationships, minimizing conflict, and allowing all voices to be heard. The second type of group role are maintenance or task roles, which are roles which focus on getting the job done. And then finally, we have negative or individual roles, which are people who detract from both the relationships in the group and the task at hand. Now let me begin with section 1. Don't do that. I don't need that introduction. This is a technical writing exercise that I am trying to teach you how to take a standard and apply the standard, which someday, hopefully, a couple of you will come back to me and go, you know what? Professor LMC, thank you for teaching me how to do that. It was really helpful when I had encountered blah, blah, or blah. So I don't need that. Don't waste your time or your brain cells on because remember, this is not an essay. This is a technical writing exercise. Responses may be bulleted or in paragraph format. So let's adjust that a little bit. So basically what I mean is some people, and I applaud you for doing this, they will literally copy this. And they will bold this dot and copy and paste the definition. And then they'll bold this dot and they'll elaborate in their own words, right? They'll paraphrase and so forth in their own words. Now this is going to bother me for all of the different ones. That's how I'm like a super format lady. So that's what you would do, right? And you can see here are the points for it. So, but if you go ahead and go through here and copy these, make sure that I get a complete sentence. Don't just give me like a phrase, all right? The other people, they'll take this information and they'll write like a paragraph, but make sure you label these sections for me, all right? So like this whole thing would be the individual negative roles. Then you have a section on the task roles. And then finally, or maybe to begin, and I don't care what order you do it in, quite frankly, you've got the maintenance or the social roles, but make sure it's abundantly clear what section you are. Now, if you turn in something and it's really clear you didn't watch this video, you didn't read the prompt, and you just use the word in a sentence, I'm going to send it right back to you and ask you to redo it. You know my philosophy as a teacher. Y'all are only to excel and of excellence. That's your mindset, excellence. Average work is not an option in communication because you'll embarrass yourself in life if you show up, unprepared for a speech. You don't want to do that. You want to respect yourself and your audience, and you want to hammer it. And the same thing with your writing. And I'll tell you, you guys know I'm dyslexic and obviously ADD, and I have to work doubly as hard for my work. I have to really buckle down. So I expect that of everybody. But you know what? It becomes a superpower because I had to work 5 times as hard as everybody and faster and harder as everybody. And I end up mastering the material. So please make sure you don't slack off. And there's a couple of other important aspects I'm going to get into. It may be here while I'm going through it. Be sure that all responses are in complete sentences. So there's your thing. No general introduction or conclusion. Please either give me a paragraph or bulleted is fine, but they must be in complete sentences. When submitting your exam, please follow the following guidelines. You're going to send me an email. Do not use the Blackboard interface. You know my philosophy. In the work environment, in creative endeavors, we use email. We don't use a content management system like Blackboard, and I like to mirror what will happen in the employment sector. In the subject header, please identify your class, day, and time. I thought oh, well, this is what I meant to do when I was in my 130 class. I noticed down below that it's a 1 point, it's worth 1 point to do this. And I had the -5 and I said, that's cattywampus. Just so I actually did that. Nobody, 130, you guys did not correct me. You saw down here, You saw down here that I said 1 point. Y'all helped me do the 130 class for the record, y'all. They helped me check my arithmetic, and thank you, Mr. Henderson, for checking it. And we notice I had them check my mathematics here. And I know, okay, it's 33 points, that's 99. And I said 1 point for a correct subject header. But then I noticed up above it was -5 points. And I said, well, that's not fair. Let me fix it. But I fixed this to make sure you guys labeled each section correctly. And I took it from a 5 to a 1, and not a one of you corrected me. Tisk tisk 130 class. So I'm going to go ahead and make it right here, and I'm going to leave it here because I tend to own my own behavior. So make sure in your subject header you identify your class day and time. -1 point if you don't do it. It should be 5 points. But what will happen, and this is, I'm saying this in the video, if I don't know your day and time, I'm going to email you back and go, please modify subject header with correct date and time. You're now at the bottom of the grading queue. Okay, so don't, because it's not fair for me to have to figure out which class are they in. Because remember, I'm grading like 90 exams, right? So just do it like that. There are the 3 exams. For typed exams, be sure to submit it inline, which basically means that you're going to copy and paste your Google Doc or your Microsoft Word document and paste it right into your email, or send me a PDF. Do not send me a Google Drive link. I will send it right back to you, and you'll be at the bottom of the queue because I want a final draft of it. All right, and I explain here, inline means you copy and paste it from your Google Doc. In other words, please do not send me a Google Drive link. And here's the thing. Be sure to label each section clearly for the reader, being moi, and then it's -1 point. It should have been 5, 130 class, all right? If submitting a multimedia exam, be sure the link to your exam can be opened. And then I have access protocols. Now, some of y'all have been super creative, and I just adore creativity. And y'all have given me either a Google Drive link or a Loom link or Vimeo. I think that's what one of my, I think it was it my 705 class? Y'all use that Vimeo. That was super creative. Or YouTube. Oh, I should put that in there because one of the funniest ones I got. And 705, you know which team that was. They did something so funny, y'all. They were all dressed up in costume, doing the bestest imitations I've ever seen. And so with private link, you can do a private link if you want. And I assume that's what the Vimeo was. I've never used Vimeo. So exam approaches, you can type it inline or attach it as a PDF. You can give me a handwritten response. Yes, we're bringing back the old school handwritten. You know why? Because in your life in the job force, you're going to have to sometimes handwrite notes. And that's, to me, it's like super old school, right? Like I remember when my volume is kind of high. I'm starting to like blast my ears out. Let me see if I can. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Okay, here. I have super sensitive ears, y'all. So that's not high enough now. Hold on. Testing 1 2. Okay, so So I'm bringing back the old school 80s when we used to handwrite stuff. And some of y'all have messy handwriting, and I love it. It's better than mine. So if you have messy handwriting, you get yay you. That means you're smart. If you've got beautiful handwriting, yay you. That means you're smart. So own your handwriting style. Video response with a link that can be opened by the instructor. An audio podcast, which can be with a link that can be opened by instructor. Or you can attend office hours for a one-to-one verbal submission. This means only one format. All right, make it easy on me. Don't give me 4 different formats, which none of y'all did that the last exam. The prompt. 3 types of roles emerge in small communication team building context. In your exam, discuss 3 social maintenance roles, 3 task roles, and 3 negative roles. That's how many roles total? That's right, 9. The exam examples must be situated in small group team building context, 5 to 7 people. Do not give me an example of the information giver was LMC in the classroom. That is a public speaking context. That's 1 to many. That's me to 20 people. That's not 5 to 7 people. I'll email you right back and I'll say, please rewrite your exam. And I will say this in every recording, every semester. I'll talk about it in a lecture. It will be on the prompt, and I will still get those examples. So make sure that it's 5 to 7 people. This means that your examples should be abundantly clear that they are situated within small group team building context. Now see, I've got team building with the hyphen and not up there. Do you guys know how to do this? You go find and replace. Bam. Well, that one should have been capitalized. Did y'all know about that little function? You probably did. Okay, so anyway, where were we? Okay, so now here are some ways you can approach it for your examples. Example. Notice it's color coded for you because I love me some color coding, y'all. It could be a group work in academic settings like class. It could be in an employment context like a job. Look at my head's getting cut off there. It could be observations from your favorite movies or television shows. It could be a hypothetical scenario, something you just make up. Or it could be leisure activities. I've got a student in filmmaking, yay, and bands or athletics. I don't care what it is. It could be anything. Now, here is the format. So for each of those total of 9, 3, 3, and 3, you have 5 levels of analysis. Definition from the resource or textbook. Elaboration. This is the what this means is. This is your paraphrasing in your own words of the definition. Then give me an example. Make sure the example, it's abundantly clear to me that your example ties in to that definition elaboration. That's what I'm looking for. Don't just throw this together because I'll send it right back to you. I can always tell people who wait till the last minute and they rush because they just throw it. Doesn't make any sense. The example has nothing to do with the definition, or they're using the same word. And then you can give me 3 examples. Now, in the past, let me just say this one caveat because someone brought this up today, and I want to honor that question, is that you can give the whole entire exam, all 9 of those things, all about Star Wars or Star Trek, or you guys know I like that movie. What's the one? I like Tombstone, and I like the one with the little girl, True Grit. Oh, that's such a great movie. Okay, so the whole paper could be about True Grit. Or just when I'm working on, like here's like a template for you, right? So like the whole section 1 could be on True Grit, or this example here could be on True Grit. This example here could be on True Grit. This example could be on True Grit. This example could be from Seinfeld. This example could be from Happy Days, which is an old school show from the 80s. This example could be from The Waltons, one of the best shows ever made. Favorite all-time TV show is MASH. If you don't know about The Waltons or MASH, you have been robbed of a cultural artifact, and you need to. And I'll tell you what, anybody who uses an episode from The Waltons or MASH, I will add 3 points. And I don't care if it's the first version of MASH with Frank, or the second version of MASH with Winchester. So Waltons or MASH, and that's a little embedded part about what in this video. All great shows. And the Waltons, well, both the Waltons and MASH had a lot of social commentary in a very gentle, unhateful, unjudgmental way. So I highly recommend you watch one of those. So, in other words, the entire paper could be about MASH, one section could be about MASH, or you can mash up the paper and have different examples. Now, some of my students did not like when and I've been giving this exam for many years, and I tend to update it every year. They don't like making examples, or they can only come up with one. So, with you, if you're like, I'm more of an analytical type of student, which I get you, then you can do this. Your assessment of how the role could become negative, if it's a negative, your assessment of how the role could become a negative role. Your assessment of how the role could become a negative role, or if it is a negative role, how it could be fixed with communication skills. So, in other words, if it is a task, let's just put this here. So, in other words, let's just make that another color just for kicks. Okay, so your assessment of how the maintenance or social and or task role could become a negative, how about this, negative or individual roles, or how a negative for individual, or if it is a negative for individual, how this could be fixed. So think to yourself, one of the examples from a task role is an information giver. Think to yourself, how could an information giver become a negative role? That's right, they give biased information overload, dated information. Only they give the information. And I got a really good question in one of the classes. They're like, do we need to make it really clear that this is 5 to 7 people? My assumption is you're focusing on a group, and just give me the level of analysis. You don't have to make it even more added, like in a group of 5 to 7 people, information giver as a task role. You don't have to say that. Just tell me how that task role that you're talking about there. And you can even string this example out if you want these levels of analysis. You don't have to like make it clear. Now with your examples, you need to make it super clear that you're talking about a situation of 5 to 7 people. But here I just need you to break it down for me, how either the maintenance or social role or the task role could become negative, or how could an individual role be fixed? So let's take a look at a negative role, y'all. So let's say the dominator. Think to yourself, how could you fix a dominator problem? Well, maybe give the dominator a bunch of new tasks. Maybe ignore the dominator, maybe call the dominator out, whatever your leadership style is, or your team building style. So there's really no right or wrong answer. I'm just wanting your analysis there, okay? So please just know I value in other words, don't slack off, and know I'm going to value your voice. If you're really trying, it's true, and it's like really clear to me that you're trying, then hey, that's what I'm looking for. So these are all your different roles that you got to pick from. You're just picking 3, and remember, if you pick 2 and you pick one of these, you're getting what, 5 points extra credit, I believe is what I said at the top of this video. So these are the toxic roles right now. Here's the template. Once again, it's the same thing from above. I'm not going to reread it. For some reason, I just did it again. I think I just like highlighted this. It's like just the same thing, but with yellow. It's the exact same thing I just went over. Here's the paper breakdown. You may choose bullets or a paragraph. 1 point for the correct subject header. Section 1 is worth 33 points. Section 2 is 33 points. Section 3 is 30 points. And you guys know I'm not going to, I'm using this, right? But I'm not, because I'm going to hand it right back to you and ask you to fix it. And if you don't fix it, then I default to this. Okay, so just fix it, or better yet, get it to me right the first time. And from what I can tell from the exams I've looked at, you guys knocked it out of the park. Like, I've got a super motivated, highly intelligent, passionate group of students. And I want to say those journal entries were cool. Some of them were like a diary entry, some of them were like a blog, like a professional blog. Some of them were like rhetorical criticism. Some of them were like a full-on graduate school or college professor lecture. Like, I'm really getting into looking at these exams you guys did. So keep doing what you were doing. Remember, there's no introduction, just there's no introduction. Let's just say that there's no there's no introduction or conclusion. And I really should make it like this. Format. Do you guys know about this? Text. Whoop, I should have not done that. Go like that. Whoop. You know about this? You go like this. You go boom, format, text. Boom. Format, text. Format, text. Okay. And then here's the breakdown. And that's all I got for you. And there's a comic. There is no conclusion. I should say that, but I think I set it up here. I don't need, well, let me just say it again, because it kind of makes sense, because I have no, so I'm going to say, can you guys tell I'm like all about the formatting? I think it's because I'm so ADD. I can't focus if it's not like perfect. There is no introduction. All right. We did not have spell check when I went to school. We had typewriters, and if you made one mistake, you had to get out this little thing and go backspace, 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 click, 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 and then move your paper back and retype. It was a real pain. And then, of course, when we went to the library, we had to, and I've gone into that whole thing, we had to go to the card catalog and write down the call number and find out what floor the call number was, and then find the shelf where the book was, and then go down and check. I can't even go in libraries anymore, y'all. I'm highly allergic to dust and mold. I have not set foot in a library forever. So, and I kind of miss libraries. I used to hang out in libraries like a dork debater all the time. So anyway, that's all I got for you. I hope my little lecture helped you. You can see I've color-coded things, and I'm just really enjoying this semester. You're a really fun group of students, and just keep up the positivity, y'all. We've got one more unit, and I'm gonna get that to you. I'm revising that. I've been working on that all day, y'all. I've been teaching that for a long time, and I'm just making it super crystal clear for y'all. So you guys have a blessed rest of your week. Thanks for all your hard work, and I'll see you next class.